One of the questions that I get the most on this channel is what is happening with Monolith Soft? When are they going to be doing updates for these Xenoblade Chronicles games for the Nintendo Switch 2 for them to run better? And what's happening with their new game, new IP, next Xenoblade, all of that. And in today's video, we're going to try to get down to it as we get closer and closer to their possible reveal of a brand new game, in addition to those updates that people are really wanting. We also got some big updates on Nintendo Switch 2 games like Metroid Prime 4, in addition to Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. So let's go ahead and jump right in though, starting out with Xenoblade Chronicles, the series, and when are we going to get those Switch 2 upgrades that people have been wanting, that people have been asking for, and that people thought that could come sooner because of the situation with Xenoblade Chronicles X with the 60 frames per second code. So let's talk about this, because I do think that Monolith Soft, in order to get all of these done, it's definitely going to take a little bit of work. It's not something that they can just snap their fingers, then all of a sudden you have a 60 FPS version of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and it works good and it looks so much better and all of that. These games are massive. These games have a lot of logic behind them. These games run on custom engines, and it's something that if you're going to do it, you got to make sure that you do it right overall. So I do think that they are taking some extra time to gear up, staff up, and get those ready. Now, do I think that they're done right now for everything? Absolutely not. I think that they're still working on that, and I think that they're looking at the best way to reveal them, and that's where I kind of want to hone in on what they're going to do, because there is a pattern, there is a method to Monolith Soft's madness when it comes down to this, and I've analyzed pretty much every single reveal from when Monolith Soft has talked about different things, and there seems to be a somewhat, I would say, safe pattern to go with. Now, the one thing that I've noticed in the Nintendo Switch 1 era, Monolith Soft, and even before that, even like with the big announcements, they always tried to get them out at the beginning of the year. The beginning of the year has been a prime opportunity and way for Monolith Soft to talk about new games in these series. Xenoblade Chronicles X originally back in 2013 on the Wii U, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 back in 2017, January, that press conference that Nintendo had, or the Nintendo Switch 1 reveal. Also, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was revealed early in the year as well, and even got moved up and switched release dates with Splatoon 3. So I do think that it's one of those things with this, is that they're going to keep to that. So with that being said, you can potentially see these Nintendo Switch 2 upgrades and Monolith Soft's next game probably at an early Nintendo Direct next year. I think that would be the soonest that we see them. Now, here's how I think that it could go. You could probably see something to where there's a Nintendo Direct and Nintendo says, take a look at this. And when they show it off, it is going to be Monolith Soft's, games. It's going to see Monolith Soft's title. It's going to be their games getting updates. It's going to be like, great, there's updates for these games. And then at the very end of that, there could be their next new game, a teaser or something for that. Now, I do think that Monolith Soft kind of learned a lot from Xenoblade Chronicles X, because they revealed that game early because they were in a desperate situation with the Wii U to sell systems after the holiday, did not sell the amount of systems that they wanted to sell. Now with the Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo is not in that desperate position. They have the Nintendo Switch 1 that still sells a bit, still has a lot of software that's selling for it, and they have the Nintendo Switch 2 that's been doing good as well, that's also selling a lot of software. So they're not in any type of rush to show people that there are going to be a bunch of big games from their hardcore game developers out there like they were with the Wii U, because they launched with two more of the casual line titles with New Super Mario Bros. In addition to Nintendo Land. Nintendo this year has Mario Kart, they have Donkey Kong Bonanza, they've got Hyrule Warriors, they've got Metroid Prime, they've got Pokemon, they've got Kirby Air Riders, they've got all sorts of stuff. So they're not in any type of stress or pressure to release something from Monolith Soft, as Monolith Soft is usually looked at as this is the studio from Nintendo that does one of the most impressive things with the system. They don't have to worry about that. So I do think that Nintendo early next year in a Direct, they're going to reveal these Switch 2 upgrades for Xenoblade Chronicles games, all of them, potentially even having a repackaging or Nintendo Switch 2 editions. I think that this would be a prime opportunity for a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That game is the best-selling game in the franchise. I think that if you look at all the different Xenoblade games, that one is kind of looked at as, man, people really either love or hate this game. There's not a ton of in-between with that, and a lot of that is due to how the game ran initially and how the game, I would say, played with the problems when it comes to some of the quality of life features and all that, but also some of the controversial things with this game when it comes to some of the character designs sides and all of that, and the clashing back and forth between fan bases and people that want to talk about the game. So I think a Switch 2 edition of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 could be really good. That would be awesome, and then you have updates for the rest of them. Now, they could do Switch 2 editions for all the games, but I just don't think they're going to do that. I think it's going to be updates for Xenoblade Definitive Edition, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Xenoblade Chronicles X, and maybe a Switch 2 edition for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, as that game, once again, is the best sales, I would say, potential overall, considering how it did on the Nintendo Switch 1, the iconic characters of Pyra and Mithra and Rex and that cast. I just think it works in that type of sense. But once again, we will see what they ultimately decide to do with these Xenoblade Chronicles games. But I'm excited because you can expect an early 2026. If we're going to get it, I would say that would be the soonest that we would see that. Now, there is a possibility of a fall or summer type of reveal, but there's only been one time that I can recall in recent Monolith Soft history, which is over the last, let's just say, decade or so, going back to the Wii U, that they actually had a game reveal that was in the fall, and that was Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which was announced at the end of, I think, 2019, then launched in the first half of 2020. So I think that it's more plausible that it's going to be a early reveal for this, and it's going to be a number of different things that people have been waiting for. Monolith Soft has also been chatty on social media, at least a bit more chatty than usual, so I do think that they are cooking up something there. We already know that they have a big new IP, or they have a big new game in development, so that is possible, and they've been working on that game for a number of years now, so that could also come into the light here. And I'm just very excited because I think that while Nintendo's software for this year is fantastic, they've got a lot of games, they got a game every single month, I think it's very good. I think that next year is when we really start seeing some of those next layer games that Nintendo has been working on for a while. That finished up at the end of the Switch 1's life with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, then they moved on to the next thing, but now they have a wholly Nintendo Switch 2 game ready to go in the next year or two that they can reveal. So I think that that's going to be exciting, seeing not only Monolith Soft's titles, but other studios that are working on stuff. We already got Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, and that looks incredible. That is a full Switch 2 game, so I'm so much looking forward to seeing what else we get from Nintendo's first-party studios. So what do you guys think about everything that we discussed here when it comes to Xenoblade and more? You can let me know in the comment section. But before we get into the next topic, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell, because we are going to be giving away a copy of Pokemon Legends ZA1 digital copy. So if you want to have a chance at winning that, make sure you subscribe, drop a comment below, and of course I'll have more details as we get closer to that October 16th release date. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the next topic here, guys, and we're going to be talking about Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. We've got new character details when it comes to the sages for the game, and all these stages look super cool overall, so we're going to break them all down here. Nintendo of America put this out on Twitter saying that the sages are finally stepping out of legend in Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Meet Argiston, the worldly chef of the Gorons. Though calm and intellectual, he will readily fight tooth and nail for his companions. All right, he's looking awesome. Next up, we've got another sage to join the fight in Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Meet Kia, the Zora Queen, and a skilled fighter whose courage and valor inspire her people. All right, next up after that, a sage awakens to step into action in Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Rafika, the quick-witted leader of the Rito. Despite his aloof demeanor, he is a considerate and steadfast ally. And of course, we have to talk about the Gerudo. Legends breathe anew as another emerges in Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Meet Artie, a compassionate leader among the Gerudo who is bound by Gerudo law to serve Ganondorf. And Linalia, a chamberlain who attends to Princess Zelda. Though she can come across as easygoing, her ability to get things done has made her one of Raru's most trusted attendants. Who else is hyped for the launch of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, available on November 6th? And that would be me with my hand up. So they're starting the marketing here for Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. We got Pokemon Legends ZA coming out as well, and I love this type of marketing. Give us the characters, show us a little bit about the game overall. We've already seen a number of trailers. It looks like it's running super smooth overall, and that was the biggest thing for me to get me even more excited and hyped. If they came out with a laggy or 30 FPS type of situation here with this game, I'd be like, man, you guys did not learn what was happening here. But I'm actually super happy that the Nintendo Switch 2 is so much stronger than the Switch 1 in the sense that it can take a game game like this and make it look better, and then also make it run better as well. And we're going to be able to do some pretty awesome things, especially in this game with all these different sages that are coming through. And there's probably going to be a lot more characters that they have not revealed that they will reveal, then also some secret characters that we don't know about as well. So from the gameplay that they've shown off, and I just think they really took their time to really craft this game and make it a special experience, as I would say the finale to the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild canon of games. This is pretty much it. I think that the next Legend of Zelda game is going to be a completely different thing. The next big new Legend of Zelda game is going to be a completely different thing that has a different type of style, a different type of attitude and flair. I think it's going to be so separate from what Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, Age of Imprisonment, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom are. It's going to shock people. So I'm going to be excited for this one. This is pretty much the finale overall of the story, and I cannot wait to what we see next. But this one is coming up here November 6th. So what do you guys think about all of these new characters that they showed off here and the details about them? You can let me know in the comment section below. All right, let's get into the next topic here, and that is Metroid Prime 4. This is some news that came out a bit ago, but I wanted to go over it because it's actually pretty cool. It details Samus's motorbike in the game. So this is one of the interesting and somewhat controversial aspects of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, that Samus will be rocking around in a motorcycle. So let's talk about this as well, because there was new details on the Viola motorbike on the official website. So this vehicle was invented by the Lemorn, a space race that once existed on Viros. Riding the Viola allows for swift travel across the vast expanses of the unknown planet Vioros. In addition, special actions can be used while riding to combat enemies and destroy ores scattered across the surface, allowing you to explore uncharted territory. You can temporarily boost your speed, knocking enemies back, or shattering, or power slide, sliding Viola sideways while boosting, known as a power slide, will send enemies or and other targets flying. Projectile. Fire a projectile that tracks your targets. The projectile can lock on up to 5 enemies at once, attacking them and then returning like a boomerang. Summon Viola at any time within the available area. Dismounting Viola will return you to Samus's perspective and resume your exploration. So the third person to first person perspective. To return alive from the unknown planet to which she was transported, Samus will use her newly acquired psychic abilities and Viola to clear her way. So this is awesome to see here, man. More information on Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, but I don't want too much when it comes down to this. I'm excited for this game. They've been talking about it now since 2017. They first revealed it. It got scrapped, it got restarted over again, and we're so close to it. It's launching this year, which I predicted. I didn't think it would get delayed to the next year. And every single bit of details, everything that they've shown so far from this game looks awesome. I love the psychic power stuff that they're doing. I love the fact that they're trying to add in new gameplay elements. Could this be a completely traditional Metroid Prime game where you go about and move about the same exact ways as you've done before? Sure, but why not try something different? Why not try something new? We've already gotten 3 Metroid Prime games that all kind of play somewhat similar, but with improvements and additions to each one as we went along from 2001, 2002 to 2007 between those 3 games. So why not try something different with this one? You've got a brand new shiny system. You've got a lot more power than they've ever had when it comes to the Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. You've got so much stuff that you can do. And even if you look at it just from the Nintendo Switch 1, it is still significantly better than what we had with the Wii. That was the last time we got a big main Metroid game. So you can still do a lot more with that extra horsepower, with those extra features and functionality, with HD Rumble and other things as well. So I think that it was awesome. Now, here's the thing with this, guys. I think that if you're playing this on Nintendo Switch 1, I'm hoping that it holds up pretty well, because this sometimes kind of gives Nintendo Switch 1 games some issues, and Nintendo's dealt with that even with their own first-party published games. So I'm hoping that it's okay enough for people that are on the Switch 1. Apparently the game is going to be about 900p 60 FPS target on Switch 1, but on Switch 2 it's going to be 4K 60 or 120 FPS at 1080p docked, and even 120 FPS portable mode as well. So I don't have any problems or reservations playing this, but I think that if you are a big Metroid Prime fan, I think it's time to pick up the Nintendo Switch 2 and get ready for this game, because I think this is going to be an experience that is so different from so many other games out there, and that you want to probably experience it at the best possible quality that you can get it overall if you're a big Metroid Prime fan. So I think that getting a Switch 2 and picking up this game is probably going to be bliss for a lot of people. I'm going to do my best to play it. I get a bit nauseated when it comes to first-person games, so I'll have my Dramamine on the side to be able to play this without having to turn it off or take breaks every single 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm excited and looking forward to it. So what do you guys think when it comes to everything that we talked about here? A lot of different big games and more. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.